So listen, we're gonna start from the left to the right, or which will be my left, will be my right, right to the left, and I'm gonna let all my panelists introduce themselves. So I'm gonna be Chris. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? Thanks for inviting me, man. Glad to be here. My name is B. Chris, Brandon Chris, but they call me B. Chris. I am the co-founder of a media music tech platform called Rap Plug. Some of y'all might have heard of it. Some of y'all may not have heard of it. We did a deal with Comcast, did a deal with Rick Ross, just did a partnership with SoundCloud, and most of y'all know me from that. Outside of that, I'm also the creator of Chris Enterprises, which is my own consulting firm, where I help consult people on how to create businesses, how to raise money, how to generate capital, marketing, branding, things like that. I work with a lot of celebrities, influencers, and different corporations, and I'm here to drop any gems that I can.
Hello everyone, my name is Rosina. I am known as the Biz Lawyer on Instagram. I am from the west side of Chicago, so I have no interruption in telling people I am also the 15th ranked trademark attorney out of 33,000 trademark attorneys in this country. And my law firm is actually ranked number 40 out of 28,000 law firms in this country.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kai Burst Tyler, aka Cloth Talk. Follow me on platforms as Cloth Talk Verse as well. I'm a 25-year music executive who used to reside in the music business, and now I'm in the business of music. Former president of Warner Brothers Music, former president of 1501 Entertainment, and now, of course, CEO of the Luxury Group. And we have some of the best, writers and producers, in the business. Sold about 27 million records over the past 4 years. And, operated at the highest level when it comes to publishing and the business of music and show you actually where your money is and how to make the money. So I'm here to answer any and all questions when it comes across the board to the business of music as well as the music business, so you guys know the difference between making it and blowing up. And there's a contrast between the two. So, along with many more gems, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
I'm director of cricket, most recently known for music videos over the last 20 years in Atlanta. It's a pretty extensive list. I mean, anybody can think of, that's a lot. It's a lot. All your favorite rappers from Atlanta started their careers as Lil Baby, Young Thug, Migos, Fat Gucci, Skinny Gucci, Jeezy. Just an assortment of people. I could go off for days. From that transition over to film and television, I direct and I write. And I'm just an entrepreneur of things that make sense, as well as an influencer of positivity to help you with your mindset and the way that you think and perceive things and going through whatever you're dealing with.
I hear that a lot of people are talking about being phased out because of the way that the generations are changing. How do you guys stay relevant and deal with some artists that are sometimes socially challenged to be able to converse with y'all because you guys have grown so far? How do you deal with the new artists now or in business when they're much younger and they've been able to get these things so fast and they don't understand the steps? How do you deal with those guys now?
For me, with anything, like I said, I speak across the board for everything. I don't just speak from one industry, but I have a great understanding of them all, from music, doing the music videos to being a part of music. Like I said, over into film. But to me, with anything, everything is going to always elevate, it's going to always transition. And I just came up with a phrase last night, it's called acclimate to dominate. You get what I'm saying? You got to acclimate to the changes that's going on, no matter what the industry is, and dominate that motherfucker. Don't cry about the changes in the shifts. It's going to always be that. Now, they're the youngest technology.
Yeah, well, this is one thing that I always preach. Education over information. First time I gave an artist, I don't care if it was Lil Durk doing his publishing deal, DJ Bands, or 808 Mafia, Cicero, I completed all of their deals when it comes to the publishing on the highest level, right? But the first part, before you sign the contract or long form, is I want to educate them. Not just them, anybody that I come across to sign. I do a co-publishing deal, you can do an admin deal, right? And I got to educate you on the difference between the two, so it becomes an exciting part to learn actually how your money comes in, not just from touring or, you have to get something for the fans to grab on. So that's why you have merchandise, right? Educating them that you have to make more than one stream. So I think that's how the newer generation is actually adaptable to what looks cool, but let me show them how to continuously keep it cool, right? And keep it flowing and where it comes from. And that's where you see not just be in love with the outcome or the result, but you need to be in love with the process.
Facts. I'm piggyback off that education and information. That's one of the reasons why I created Rap Club. Some of you have even been a part of that journey. And so we have over 70 courses and classes with top music industry professionals and executives all over the music industry, teaching people how to be successful. And that's the reason why we did the deal with SoundCloud, so we could offer those courses and classes to the millions of users on SoundCloud's platform, right? And so some people, they're not going to be able to come to a panel like this or be in an ecosystem like Atlanta, and we want to find ways to still give them the information and the education about the music industry so that they can apply it to their time, right? Some individuals, it's not like it used to be. Technology is innovating and really changing the landscape of the music industry. AI and all those type of things. So you need to learn about these things, how to use these things to your advantage. And we got people like Tory Lanez who dropping mixtapes from prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing stopping people these days. You know what I mean? But it's all about how can you do it and apply that knowledge, to what you can.
I would actually say I have in-house training because I have a son that will be 23 at the end of this month. I have a 19-year-old and I have an 11-year-old. Okay, for the life of me, I can't understand why they wear sweaters in the summertime. I just don't get it right now, But I also can't understand when I'm asking my 11-year-old, let's go shopping. And she's like, no, I just want money for Roblox. So I would dress up my avatar. And I can't understand that. I'm an 80, like I was just telling her, we lived in a mall in the 90s, right? But because of the way young people are consuming now, the malls won't be around in the 2030s. They just won't be around. So I know how to adjust to that and how to advise my clients properly. So, okay, now you got a brand. You like wearing your clothes, but also let's protect that on the digital side. Because now if they in these games and they like your brand, they want to dress up that avatar and make that you need to protect that asset. Because if now they put that brand on in this digital world, if you're not getting paid for it to get the check for, we gotta be able to shut that down. And so it's like I learned that just from conversing with my own kids, like it's different out here. And it's a struggle for me as their mother just trying to figure it out, but I learn from them every day because regardless of how many times I cuss my son out about wearing a damn hot ass sweater and 90-degree weather, he's still wearing that sweater, right? She's still asking for money for Roblox. So it's like, okay, I gotta adapt to it so that I can be a better advisor for my clients because this is our future. And they're changing the way we consume and how we live. Like, it breaks my heart going into a mall and it's like 80% abandoned already.
What would be the best way that artists in this building or entrepreneurs in this building can protect their brand but at a low fee? Because it does cost money to get you to show them how to do this. What would be the most effective way for them to do this at a lower cost?
I'm gonna say this. As an entrepreneur, you should be approaching your career as a business, right? As an artist, you should be promoting your career as an artist. And as an entrepreneur, you gotta be creative on how you raise capital. And so I can't tell you a cheap way to protect your business. I can tell you the right way to do it. Because I represent about 5,000 clients to date, and a fourth of them did it the cheap way, so they had to come see me after the fact to pay for it the right way so it could be done. As an entrepreneur, as an artist, we got, just in life now with how you gotta spend money, you gotta be creative with how you make money. And so I would just say, I always ask people, will you build a house on land you don't own? Will you all build a house on land you don't own? No, it don't make sense, right? So why do we build these businesses and these brands if we don't own them? It's the same equivalent. Because somebody can hire me to come in and tear that business down like they come and tear that house down. If you built it, you may clear the land first. So it's just so very important. Also, education is free, right? But also too, when you step into the realm of business, you need an expert. You need an expert at that table with you because they will take everything you thought you owned. Prince couldn't use the name his mama gave him for the longest because he signed away that right in the contract and did not know. So it's like the devil is in the details. You'd rather have somebody at the table, like, and we charge $1,500 for a trademark. I see y'all blow that
on the bill.
Exactly. Exactly, right? It's valuable. And if it's not me, go with somebody who knows. Well, my daddy always said you don't go to a foot doctor for brain surgery, right? You don't take a divorce lawyer and a music deal with you to do a deal, right? Who do these deals inside out every day, every day long. Because I have clients come to me who said, you know what, I trademarked my business and I did it for a clothing line, and then we look it up, they trademarked the clothesline. That we used to hang outside. I know y'all probably don't know much about this, but when I was growing up on the west side of Chicago, we had clotheslines, and we used to use clothespins to hang up our clothes to dry them. And guess what? They thought they trademarked in that class, thinking they protected their clothing line. Okay.
All right. Clothesline. My next question is for you, Claude. You know, you deal with publishing, you deal with some of the biggest artists. You just caught a Grammy with Coco Jones, right? I see you. So listen, right? What does it take for an artist, because you do work with labels, what does it take for an artist to get on your radar? Because we know that you do lives, you know, you pop out a lot of events or whatever. Like, what does it take for them to really get on your radar? Outside of the systematic things that, you know, you guys use at the labels and stuff like that. What does it take for them to personally get on your radar?
For me, I'll say for me and actually going, from the inside out, right? Because, we're dealing with multiple partnerships with multiple majors. But then you have major independents as well, like Empire. And then you have your AWOLs, you have your Spartans, right? These are major independents. And, we all look for the same thing in one shell, which is visibility, right? The whole game is based upon market share. It doesn't care about your talent. Talent is last. Everyone screaming, yo, talent is coming back. Yes, but you approach a label with the best singer you ever got in your life, and guess what? The first thing they're going to say is like, what's my collateral? We have to operate based upon leverage, right? So what I look for now in a collective or even just one artist itself is structure, organization. The majority of artists don't have anything to manage, so they don't have a manager. So you work hard enough in your craft to say, hey, listen, I do have a manager, I do have a visual guy, I do have an editor, and we do the meetings at 300 Entertainment, I have a joint venture with them, and I sit in on some of the A&R meetings, which it should be, artist and repertoire. That's what A&R stands for, because I come from that side of the business. But now it has turned into analytics and research. Because we have research people, research teams now, right? So to get on the radar is two different ways. It used to be if your song was playing in the club. Then you go, oh man, I hear this. Who's this guy? Who's this artist? Who's this female? But now it's algorithm applications that are installed within the labels. And if you happen to have a buzz, you drop a video, it does 90,000 views in 7 hours, I get an email. I'm gonna have to hear the music. And that's all of a sudden you hear these A&R stories or these artist stories. Hey man, I had records in my DM. Sure you did. Because that A&R is trying to sign something that they can say is making noise, whether you heard it or heard the music or not. So with me getting on my radar, it's like, I need originality. That's what I look for, because everything just sounds like one long song nowadays, right? We come out, shout out to Gunna, he's part of the team over at 300. But I say that because he makes amazing music. You'll have 90 other Gunnas behind him to sound like him, thinking that's what works. We're not looking for carbon copies. The only thing that we're looking for is things that will make money. That's what it's based upon, it's the business of music. We don't care about, he's the greatest rapper, she's the greatest singer. No one cares about that, right? It's in your brand. No brand, no fan. So when people actually come to meet me at the office and then they'll leave, if they leave the room and their brand still resonate with me, like I still think about this guy 3 hours later or the next day, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna use it, and you know what I mean? I can see exactly what that is. So I sign things that I can see a future for, not just in monetary gain, but in gain of the culture as well too. So just stay original and strong.
So does it take a long to create a deal for them after they do that? Because remember, they got on your radar, you jumped in, like, how does the process work with them to get a deal if you're co-signing the situation?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. Say you have artists, give me a name, doesn't matter who it is. Say you have rapper Waffles, right? You say you got rapper Waffles. he jumped on my radar, right? Okay, great. I have to come up to the office and he play the music for the rest of the team because I'm excited about this. So in the building, you need your champions. If that makes sense, right? Verse can't be the only one that like it. I gotta have two of my cohorts at least say, yo, bro, I'm feeling that. Cool, we gonna do Waffles, right? The process works like this. We're gonna shake hands, we heard the music, we love it, we'll be in contact with your team. The next email comes in and says, hey, what's the lawyer information? If you don't hear anybody request for legal, then it's not real. It's just smoke and mirrors, right? Like, you know, all many people say, yeah, deal, man, we didn't have $1 million. How many times I hear that? I'm like, okay, what's the offer? Oh, nah, well, he's telling. No, listen. My ears is broke in this business. I gotta see it on black and white in the email. And that's why I say the business of music is where the money is. Because in the music business, you gotta shake hands and kiss the babies, move around, DJs, touch the people, right? But the business of music has no face. So when you're thinking about copyright, you don't have your copyright, your trademark together, that's part of your brand. And you definitely need to see someone like her, not her, to make sure your business is together. Because when you go and you sign the paperwork, you gotta realize what you're walking out and take out the door with, not just a check. You gotta walk out with your rights. I go, but every publishing deal, anybody has a publishing deal out there, it's 50-50. That's not just a streaming. That's not just a royalties. That's a 50% of your copyright, your name. The deal is for 3 years, but they have something called retention. So I gave you $1 million. 3 years later, you only made me $450,000 back. Okay, I still get my money back, but I got a 10-year retention on you. But guess what? The retention doesn't start until I recoup. So you can wait 3 more years, and I finally got my money, which is 122%. By the way, anybody, any deal that's out there, you take an advance, the recoupment is 122%. I don't care if it's a distributor like Empire or it's a major record label like Republic. You take $1 million, you gotta pay back 1 or 2. So that's why you never recoup, because you keep going back over into the rollover. Unless you're a smart artist like Russ or someone like that that can actually have the leverage and say, hey, I'm making $150,000 a month off my music. I want a clause in my contract that says I have a buyout. But most people look at the check and they're not looking at the process. You gotta be in love with the process.
Hey, make some noise for that. So we're gonna move over to Director Cricket. So with the way the world is going on right now, and you get these artists that come to you now, they know you did Wild and you did all these people, and they feel like they can shoot these videos with iPhones. They're like, hey, well, this is my story, this is how I'm pitching my story to the world. How do you fit in that equation, or how do you teach them, like, hey, it can be a bigger look to that what it is that you do?
So for me, I respect it. Like, I'm a creative, right? So, and you talked about, transitioning over to the new. And it's a part of the new, everything takes its own head. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I would rather see some videos, and we still get them that's of a full production. They spend some money to make sure the aesthetics and everything look good. But I feel like if you dope and creative, let your creators speak. If it's an iPhone and you know how to work that motherfucker, work it. What I would suggest is that get on YouTube. It's free information. It'll show you how to have the right levels and exposures and everything so that you can have a quality iPhone picture. What I suggested all the time, hell yeah. If you ain't got it and you're trying to get on, I feel like you need to go in that direction. I come from a time of videos, we used to get a bag. The bag ain't there like that anymore. Because of iPhones and just people, technology and people living through their expression. You know what I mean? Everybody got a story to tell, and iPhones make it so that you have the opportunity to tell a story. So, I mean, like I said, I'm about acclimating to dominating. So however we transition in the world, I'm gonna transition with it. I'm gonna still keep my flavor. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just make sure that it works in the realms in which that are new, right? Because you can always add the old to the new to up it. You get what I'm saying? So you just gotta be open-minded in that space. So that's what I would say. Rock the fuck out.
Alright. So with that being said, how are you moving your company right now? As you went from one thing and you're seeing how the phones are changing.
Visibility. Like she said, she got young kids. I got a 9 and a 12-year-old, big. My 9-year-old, he roadblocks to death. But he's also, because he's my son, he's into other things and my daughter as well. So they hip to the TikToks and all the new stuff that go on. So I pay attention because I keep a guard on mine. So y'all better too. Because when technology comes up with shit. But I'm just saying, I pay attention to what's going on. And I take that and I say, okay, people not giving a lot of time to this long and drawn out thing, no matter if it's a video, a commercial, whatever. The thought process for people, the attention span is like 15 seconds. That's why shorts and stories work. So for me, I'm like, okay, we need to work in that capacity to create the allure, to bring people over to see the long form of whatever it is. You have to create the illusion, the perception in which they may want to see. Play into it somewhat, keep it integrity, but for me, I'm just rocking with the new. You know what I'm saying? If it's short format, I'm rocking with that to get you over to the long format. Because that's all it takes to win.
Answering your question about the deal. So let me say this too, because when people speak about deals and going into deals, there are no more like record deals. We do partnerships. Every artist that you see, I don't care if it's Honcho, I don't care if it's Pink Panthers, somebody is signed to a production deal, right? And it goes through the major indie or through the major, right? Because in a partnership, you want to share and unshare alike. So when the process goes in, the lawyer gets the paperwork, you need to be able to redline. Redline is negotiating exactly what those points are. If it's going to be a 2-album deal with a $500,000 advance, your lawyer can redline that and say, no, we want to do a 1-album deal with a $750 advance. Okay, now they're going to counter back and say, no, we're going to give you $750, but we want 2 albums. You know, in that type of scenario, if you want to negotiate ownership. So everything that the record labels are buying into now, they're buying into market share where you take Finesse 2 times, for example, right? He's a licensing deal. It's 3 or 4 labels attached to it, production deals, but ultimately it's with Atlantic, which is with the Warner system. Now that is a production deal that is actually ushered, and he's the furnishing company, right? So the furnishing company who actually allows you to get the permission for the artist, you know, to be signed to that label. So in that midst of that, Atlantic shares in the master. So they're sharing in the master where they say, okay, well, we'll give you $2 million, but we don't want to own the master completely because they got heavy motion. That's leveraging all over the internet. We want to sign it now. That's what it means about visibility. You don't have to be triple platinum. All you got to do is have a lot of visibility. Billboards everywhere. You know, Good Morning America. You don't say cheese. You don't want a radar. He's everywhere. For the next 60, 70 days, somebody wants that, right? And they want to get into that market share. So they're going ahead and share it in the master for a certain amount of money. And that's where the red line comes in. At $2 million, we'll sign you. We want 60% negative. We're going to do $1.2 million. We're going to take 40%. And we're going to take 60. And on the third project, it goes up to 70-30, my way. And that's how you negotiate the business of music, because I've proven my milestones. I have to set milestones in there. When I do publishing deals, I give a guy $500,000, and then 12-month anniversary, there's another payment. But understand, only if he sells, he does 70 million streams on whatever record comes out. 70 million is gold, 175 million is platinum. Just when you're looking at your Spotify numbers or whatever, it's kind of give you a gauge to go by. So that's a gold record. That's $270,000. Right? So people walk up and they say they want $1 billion deal and they only got 2 million streams. You gotta make the math, right? So we have to base it upon that. Not hype, not noise, but real numbers.
That's a lot of streams. I ain't putting out some music at this point. Because you gotta think about it, some artists get 2 million streams, they be like, I need to get 2,000 just to get booked. I'm like, oh, man, you ain't no way.
One thing.
Alright, so be quick. I want you to elaborate on your platform. I feel like when you did this in Atlanta, I feel like you were one of the first guys to touch technology and put it with artists. So I want you to explain like where is Rap Club going right now? We see you partnership with Ross, you do a lot of stuff in the city. Like, what's the goal for your brand right now when it comes to artists and technology?
When I first came to Atlanta, shout out to Atlanta, I think people sleep on Atlanta and added value it brings to entrepreneurs and artists. But I was like the first guy, not one of the first, but one of the few young guys coming here saying tech, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? One of my first clients / partners. When I first came here, I was building apps for celebrities. Carly Red was one of my clients. Black Ink, Duchess, all of them. It was my clients. I was building apps. Then I got into building platforms, and the whole idea for Rap Club came about from stuff like this. I was the guy from Chicago, actually, from Chicago, grew up in Cincinnati, from the Midwest, and I was like, I was spending all this money to go to the Remos conferences and go to the A3Cs, and I was like, at this point, I need to just move to Atlanta because I'm spending so much money going to New York and Miami and Atlanta, and then when I would come to these places, I was like, man, I can't never get to the niggas on the phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm trying to talk to him, and I gotta, navigate a million people, right? And it's still kind of like that, right? So I was like, okay, you in tech, you in music, you love music, you're working with these celebrities and influencers, but what else can you do? You know what I mean? That's gonna really, like you said, integrate the artists with technology. And that's where the idea of Rap Club came from, was building out a platform where people could actually learn from these individuals on how to be successful without having to be in the room. So I basically built my own masterclass.com hip hop, right? And outside of the online content and the networking and creating your own profile and stuff like that, I was like, I'm gonna do my own summits, my own tours, my own events and stuff too. And that's how I started doing that. Where I see things going now is that I built an asset that I didn't even know I was really building at the time where the value was going to be. And now I see like having a whole database of hundreds of courses and classes with credible people in the music industry is not only valuable to me, but it's also valuable to these other companies who are trying to figure out how to innovate that have been around for a long time, like SoundCloud. So SoundCloud has 1 million plus people on their platform, and they're trying to stay relevant, but they also want to educate people around the world on how to navigate the music industry. Now they do a partnership with somebody like me. Well, if it's good enough for SoundCloud, it's good enough for United Masters, it's good enough for TuneCore, it's good enough for DistroKid. So I'm trying to figure out now, how do I take what I've done with SoundCloud as a proof of concept and then go to these other companies and broker the same type of deal. And then we go beyond that and we say, okay, you did it in the States, you did it with these companies, but guess what? Africa now has an infrastructure for, cellular internet and everything like that. So now there's these other countries that are also starting to need the same asset, right, for their ecosystems. And now it goes beyond just the United States and beyond just B2B deals with these other companies, but now I can do partnerships with people around the world, right? And then you go into the brands, right? I looked at what United Masters was doing with branding, and I was like, yo, it's amazing, right? They got Crown Royal to sponsor a series of content with producers. So now I can go to brands and I can say, hey, liquor company, clothing company, etc. We have content with these influencers, because they are influencers. They're people in the music industry, A&Rs, producers, singers, songwriters, executives, but they each have their own market of influence as well. They have people who follow them. So not only do I have these educators in this space who I have content with and do deals with and work with, but I also can work with them to influence people. So one of my sponsors, they had a software for producers. And they came to me and was like, hey, we want to work with you. You bring us the producers you think are good. We'll pay you, you pay them. So I ended up doing a deal with them, and I ended up paying 20 producers to go on tours like 2 years ago. And we marketed and promoted this software, this producer software on tour at events like South by Southwest, things like that. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know how big it really was. I was just doing it. Right? You was there, South by Southwest. What I realized is that same business model can be duplicated. There's a reason why Crown Royal is paying to sponsor content with producers, because they know those producers are what we call micro-influencers who also influence, right? And instead of spending the budget with this person who's this A-lister who's going to charge them all this money, no, not to my A-lister, I want to still work with y'all, right? They're like, we're going to go micro, and we're going to find these influencers in the hip-hop space who are the videographers that people, respect, who are the executives that people love, who are the producers that people love, and we're going to pay them to endorse, and they're going to do a partnership. So I'm finding out ways now on the tech side, even more, I'm creating my own content now, putting out, reality shows, all kinds of stuff like that, because now I'm starting to realize the value of content. But then I'm also on the tech side, so exactly, that's intellectual property. Then I also realized on the tech side, I was building out the masterclass.com hip hop, but what I realized was you built your own subscription platform. And you can now build the same type of platform in other markets. So now I'm like, okay, I wonder if I can do the same thing in comedy. I wonder if I can do the same thing in fashion. Like, what other platforms can I build that are subscription based, where I can create content and I can partner with influencers and do deals with brands and businesses. So it opened up my mind now to say, okay, we did that with Rap Plug, and now it's a whole other thing you can do. So I hope that answered your question.
Definitely, listen, that ain't where it's going, that's where it's gonna be. We actually just where it's going. So let's give this a round of applause for that. So in short, right, I just want you guys to give me like a quick story because I know that everybody sees us, they see like all of us are quote unquote lit on Instagram, right? So if you could just take like maybe like 30 to 45 seconds, we just know the business and just take me to a time where it was hard for you and you kind of thought it was over, but you was like, I'm gonna keep on going. Because I think people out there, they don't understand what it takes to build these brands that they're looking at right now. Like, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hours in, it's a lot of pain, it's a lot of suffering, it's a lot of time that we can't spend with our family, our friends. Take me to that point where you had that one instance like, damn, maybe I just need to chill and I don't want to do this. Or it was just one of those days you had a bad day, but you're like, I'm gonna keep on going no matter what.
Yeah, my daddy, you know, I was introduced to county jail from my daddy, going to see him and things like that. You know, my daddy was a hustler from the streets, and he always, and I seen my daddy do some bad things, but he did some great things to me because he always told me, quitters never win and winners never quit, and you're a winner. So the option is never to quit. So when I have those days, it just comes back to my father. You know what I'm saying? And thank God he's here with us now. Still, he's a community activist now. Y'all doing good things in the community. Seeing the kids every Saturday morning, he's doing great things for the community now. But I've seen a lot of things that, you know, my dad went through and things like that. And like to see him come out of what he came out of, it just let me know God is real. And anytime that I start to question or, you know, my faith starts to weather, that's when I know God is not present for me. You know what I'm saying? And I understand, like, my perspective gotta be off because my positioning is off. And as long as I'm positioning with Him, which is God, my Father, my perspective will always be great. I come from nothing. So I can't complain about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can't, you know, like, it's just so many things I have lost along the way and things like that, that it's like, I thank God, even in the time where it's the midst of the storm. You know what I'm saying? When I'm going through the fire, okay, I gotta come out of this fire well. I gotta come out great, I gotta come out organized. So what should I learn from this right here today? I asked my Father, you know, so it's like, when I'm feeling that way, I gotta get close to Him so I can understand. Because as long as I know who God is, then I know who I am. And then another thing is, you know, I had a pastor say it's so true. You go from telling your problems to God to telling telling your problems how big your God is. And from that on, it's just like when you stay within God, like, because your mind is the devil's playground. He's gonna play in it, he's gonna create warfare in it, he's gonna create all types of things in it. And so it's like, I know God didn't bring me this far to fail me. So it's either gonna be, I'm gonna get through this day or I'm gonna die today. So what we doing? It ain't no option for me to give up. I lost too much along this road. So for me, what I would just tell you guys, if you don't believe in God, whatever you believe in, you gotta come back to that. You gotta go back to that and be positioned in that, because then your perspective begins to change. So now you ain't saying, damn, I'm broke. No, damn, I'm blessed. I took another breath today. You know what I'm saying? I got some people that I know that didn't see today. So I'm here. So you gave me this gift, so let me operate with what I got today. And that's just what I see. Come on,
Okay, so you know Brother Paul? Same question for you.
Man, like, okay, so 45 seconds is gonna be straight.
Take time.
So no, but because I think that the number one thing in the business and really in the world right now that we're all lacking is like that favorable communication and knowing how to delegate and communicate with one another. So that's the reason why I make sure I take my time and I'm transparent with all of my conversations, because I want you to be able to not only feel it, but I need you to align with me so we can walk together and you can be educated instead of just informed, because the information goes in one ear and out the other. The education sticks to your rib and allow you to regurgitate it if someone asks you, right? So that's why I'm so locked in on my craft, and I know what. Anyway, let's back up a little bit when it comes to disappointment or it comes to feeling like you want to quit, right? So I'm gonna share this with y'all. So I spent 5 years in federal prison almost 10 years ago, right? I was the president of Warner Brothers. I also was flying that weed around private jets and doing my thing, right? Respectfully, right? But once again, you know, when the federals came, you know, it's at that purpose where I had to go to a nickel, right? And most of the people would took that as a downtrodden and say, damn, man, my shit is over with. But that's the reason why I always had my chin up high. And I always had a big smile on my face, even walking around the track and the yard, everything, because I know exactly who I was and what I was coming home to do, right? I did 5 years, I came home in 2016, and I started to learn about expectation when I was inside, and accountability, right? More important than any man's time or money is managing their expectations, so it starts with you. So you have to realize what you expect, also what you expect. Right? So if you want the best, you gotta know what the best looks like. If you want the best, you gotta know what the best feels like. And if you haven't been to the bottom, you can't feel with the top. So I've been to the bottom, I've been to the darkest, I've been rich, I've been poor, I got it all again, and I'm here in front of you guys as an example, right? I can tell you about multi-million-dollar deals that went belly up. Sure, I can share that with you and how it might have broke my spirit, but it didn't do anything but inspire me because my expectations are what they are. I can expect to get through anything, right? Because God don't take you through nothing that He ain't gonna ready to be able to push you through. You know what I mean? And this is what it is. So He gives you the tools and accessories you need. So with me, I like to share this with people who would say, there's times when a deal doesn't go through. I'll give you an example because we're speaking about the business of music. So I had a producer, did 3 or 4 hot records on this one person, the album superstar artist, female. And I went to go do a $3 million deal. Now, this $3 million deal would change the trajectory from me. Mind you, this might have been taken almost 10 years ago now. And it would have changed my landscape, but my planning and what I had in front of me to do. And I was so excited. And it ended up going belly up because they devalued the deal. The album came out, it didn't do well. So they said, hey, I don't have $3 million for you. This is the reason why I wanted to do the deal. I had a feeling the album was going to break, right? I was like, yo, the album came out and didn't do big numbers. And it was like, okay, let's do this at 1.3. So you know I'm making 20% on the deal. So my $3 million and 20% is easy math right there. For me to walk away with 600, right? Now that changes to a whole 205, and I'm still breaking it down with my partner. So my expectations are now shattered, right? And I can walk around with my head down because the producer didn't want to do the deal anymore. Man, I'd rather wait, bro. Damn, I've been on this work and I can't. It is what it is. When I built my business and where I have a desk full of deals, I'm not tripping. It's called pipeline now. You know, I have 12 deals on my desk right now in front of me. 6 of them might close, right? 3 of them might not. So what? The difference between me making $350,000 and $750,000, I'm still not going to see. Because at that particular point, it's not about the money anymore, it's about being of service. So when I actually moved out of the way of chasing the dollar and getting the coin and getting the deal and say, hey, I'm a closer. Close anybody, right? And just respectfully look at my conversation is what it is, right? But when it doesn't close, don't feel like the world is over. When you don't get the deal, don't feel like it's over. Listen, they made more than one Mercedes. They made more than one mansion. They made more than one nice watch. They made more than one record label. Unfortunately, now they have tons of distributors with bags of money that's accessible to you to get money, 20, 50, 100,000. Now, what you do with it is on you, but you gotta come to the table with some collateral. So what I'm telling you guys is that you have to have a certain expectation set in your mind in any business, especially in the record business or the business of music, rather. Set your expectations so you won't be let down.
Hey? Bringing what you want to do now.
So me, you know, I'm a thinker and I'm a spiritual person. I'm not like a super religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God and I believe in the universe. So to me, as far as going through, I've been through so many things. You get a music director that you go through with whatever the budget is supposed to be and what it ends up being. Two totally different things. So sometimes it's frustrating to I got a story. I wanted to do a film called Brooklyn. And I had put everything into this because God told me to do it, right? I was like, I had a film situation. I told it to somebody, and they promised me to be the director on it. So I was like, hell yeah. I wrote it, and I'm gonna be the director. This is gonna be an incredible look for me. This is the fucking one, right? It's gonna set me off, right? So I'm turned up, and then they call me. I'm a real energetic person, right? So when they called me, it was like, I'll never forget, it was like Memorial Day weekend. It was like, hey, we decided to go another way. We got another investor. We're spending over $1 million. They don't think that you're ready for this. I'm like, motherfucker, I shot 1,000 videos that look like movies. But for some reason, on my spirit, I took it calm. And that's not crazy. But I was like, all right, you guys got a good project. Do well with it. Something special should come from. And I left it at that. So then I go to church. I cried it out. In church crying, going through it. Talking to God, I'm crying, I'm talking to God, I'm going through it, I didn't care. And then he said, do this project Brooklyn. And I said, okay, I ain't got the money. I don't know how I'm gonna make this happen. He said, did I say anything about money? And I was like, no. So I went and set out to do it like I had the money. I knew who I wanted to play in it, I knew the team I wanted to use and everything. And when I went out to do it, without the money, everybody said yes. I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? So then it came down, time to do it. I told everybody a date. This is the crazy part. I told them, I think it was October. I wanted to do it in October, and I didn't have the money or no way of knowing where it was going to come from. Somebody stepped to me at a place I was doing a side job to make ends meet. This is so you know that God will bless you where you stand, right? So I'm standing out in this lot kicking it with my mans, and then an old friend of mine walked up. He said, "Chris, what are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing here?" They're like, "Hey, that is so crazy. I need to talk to you. I got a project I'd like to bring you a part of." I said, "All right." He said, "Can we meet next week?" I said, "Yeah, sure. No big deal." He called me. He said, "Yo, let's meet." I go to the meeting. We have a great meeting. On my way to leave the meeting, the person that was investing said, "Hey, I heard you do a movie." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What you got this credit?" I got this project named Brooklyn, but he said, "What's it gonna cost you?" I said, "Blah, blah, blah." He was like, "Come see me Thursday." I was like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." Right? Because you know that line and beat that. Everybody, that line is not what it seems to be, but it is what it seems to be too. Right? So you just gotta know how to perceive and understand and know the most important thing is knowing who you are and what you want. Right? But also vibrate on a high vibration. Because when you vibrate on a high vibration, it tends to protect you from bullshit. Just trust me when I tell you. So, I go see this guy on Thursday, right? And we talking about a deal. I knew my spiel. I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker give me money, I'm giving him 20%. Right? That was the thought. I went in, I was like, He's like, all right, the price now, what's the breakdown? I said, 20. He said, 20? On top of what I'm giving you? Like, are you serious? And in that moment, I said, you know what? Fuck it, I'll do it 50-50. And you know what he said? He said, well, since you're going to do it 50-50, after this one, I double back and fund the other one for a higher budget. You see what I'm saying? So I say all that to say is never lose your faith. Always believe in what you want. I just believe what God told me to do and I went for it. Just like I was killing music videos for 2-3 years, World Star, Top Box, like nailed this bitch. You see what I'm saying? I ran this shit, had a great run. But then I had an epiphany that I'm fucking the kids up, right? By way of visuals because I don't agree with the shit that I'm shooting. I'm just good as fucking doing it. You see what I'm saying? But my heart speaks of something else. So I can't do this like this no more. So I go to Future, Cheesy, and all, and I'm like, yeah.
Yo, I remember when you told me that story.
You feel me? I'm like, they're like, yeah, send me the treatment. I'm on fire. They're like, send me the treatment for this, send me the treatment for this. So I'm sending the treatments. It's still hood shit, but their stories of triumph. You feel what I'm saying? It's alternate endings. Because I said, I can still give you the shit that you want, but we can also feed the kids something else. Man, motherfuckers like, that's crazy. They're like, man, listen, man, we want some cars and some girls, not knocking none of y'all, because y'all, man, you still like had a great life, and I appreciate it, love all y'all. You know what I'm saying? But it took a minute, and I think Jeezy was like, the first person was like, yeah, run that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do some videos that told and depicted a different story. And that was just important to me. So always believe in what you want, never give up on yourself, never fuck validation from other people. Like we said, phones can change your life, a moment can change your life, the education, knowing the right people to help you, technology, people that put it on for other people that see outside themselves, that's where you dwell at. You feel what I'm saying? And that's how you will grow. And as always, love like bless somebody better than you were yesterday. God loves you now. That's my
So we will close out. We will close out right now. So we will start with Chris. Yes. Apologize.
I won't be long. I would say there's two quotes that I live by before I say what I'm about to say. One is that success is not measured by what you can accomplish, but by the obstacles in which you can overcome. Right? So that's one that I remind myself that daily. Second is that people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Right? That's the second one. So those two things I remind myself so I can like overcome things. For me, it was COVID. Like, I moved to Atlanta in 2017, 2 years, 17, 18, 19. It was booming, right? Like that was the peak, the first peak of Rap Plug and me in Atlanta and making a lot of money and doing a lot. A lot of people had deals on the table. Investors came with a lot of money. We just did our thing with Comcast. We was like, okay, we up here. I had staff hired. We was working at the Comcast building in the office. Y'all came to the office. I had an office at the Comcast building on the fourth floor. I was up here, right? You know what I'm saying? COVID came, rocked everything, right? Rocked everything. I had to fire staff. Investors was like, nah, this ain't the right time. I don't care about that. I'm trying to put out fires over here. Businesses closing, everything. And my business model at the time was really focused more on events and focused more on just networking and focused on doing tours and stuff like that for brands and doing a lot of stuff. I had Reebok, I had all kind of clients working with us in the music space while we were building out the tech. So I'm like, I don't have the money to build out the tech. I don't got staff to work, and all of the contracts and all the investors that were coming to the table, they leaving. And then the investors who already invested up to this day is asking me, yo, what's up? Because we ain't trying to lose the money we just put in. Nobody knew COVID was coming, right? And I moved to LA at that time too, so I'm in LA in COVID, right? I'm driving and flying back and forth to Atlanta. And so, man, God came and gave me an idea to pivot. And that's why you gotta really have a plan as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a business person. Like, you can't let things rock you. You gotta figure out how and when and will you pivot, right? And so I immediately said, okay, instead of everything that we were talking about doing, I'm gonna put 100% of my energy into building out the subscription-based model of my business. Everybody at home, everybody can't go nowhere, but they still got Wi-Fi, they still got their phones, and they still paying for Amazon Prime and Netflix. So something going on still in that ecosystem, right? I partnered with Eric Bellinger. Eric Bellinger didn't charge me no money up front. He didn't even know me for real, but he was like, I ain't gonna charge no money. I want to do this. We did a virtual writing camp. This was the first piece of subscription-based content that I came out with on my platform during COVID. I was at Eric's house in his studio in the basement filming him. He telling all the stories about how he wrote the songs for Chris Brown and all these hits that he made and stuff. We literally filmed that. I paid my videographer. I directed it myself. That's when I found I could do the direct. I didn't even know I was a director and producer until this, right? We did a whole thing of content with Eric Bellinger. Put it out, made $20,000 in less than a week off of him making one post on social media. Improved the whole business model that I pivoted to, that we could literally get people to pay for online content through subscriptions. And that was the model I needed to go with, which ended up doing the deal with SoundCloud. We ended up getting Rick Ross involved. We ended up, so if COVID would have never happened, I may have never pivoted my whole company to focus on that model. And I probably would have never did what I did with Eric to prove the concept. And so sometimes you just never know why things are happening the way they're happening. But if you stay passionate and excited and you don't let things destroy you, it's gonna lead you to opening doors you didn't even know should have been open.
I just want to say one more thing real quick, I'm sorry. But I just thought about it as I was sitting here. Shout out to my honey. It's the reason why I'm on this panel. But also shout out to my baby because the last time, and I didn't even realize till today, but the last time he was invited here was for a toy drive. And his guy was his friend's best friend called me every single day, was the person who put on the toy drive. So me, ATL Chamber, the Direction Strong, all these people, and when we pulled up, it was fire trucks and ambulance in the parking lot. Why did the screamer? What's going on? He like, maybe because of the time who was here or whatever. We walked up to his friend being passed out in the doorway, right? And I didn't realize it until he said, man, I don't know if I could know. Like, we lost his friend that day in this building, right? So rest in peace to Rocky. You know, shout out to him. And, you know, like, again, life is a gift. It's a gift. He dropped dead at the door bringing toys in so that we can pass out to the kids. This happened 3 days before Christmas, right? So it's like, life is a gift, you guys. Like, ain't no quitting as long as he got breath in our body. Like 50 said, we gonna get it or we gonna not try. Period. And that's it.
I think that concludes our panel. Starting from cricket over, if there's one thing that you could say to a person that wants to do the same thing that you're doing, what would you tell them?
Don't stop. Believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it. Even when things feel like it's not working, that's when it's working the most. You just gotta trust it. Some of my toughest times produce the most creative stuff I've ever made in my life. So sometimes I'll be looking for hard times. I like them. But when they come out, learn to endure them. So be disciplined, trust yourself, and learn to embrace the pain. There's nothing magical about that.
Same for you, Clark. Somebody wanted to do the same things that you're doing right now, what type of advice would you give them?
You know, in short, I would tell them, and this is applicable to so many different avenues, I would say, don't walk down a long pier into a short coin. It's like jumping over $1 to get to a penny. The penny's real shiny. It's the result of a lot of things. It's shiny, it's not the value. And you'll jump right over that dollar because it's grungy. Yeah, that grunge is where the grind is. That's where the perseverance and the passion is. You take the elevator instead of taking the stairs. Sometimes, often not myself, I like taking the scenic route because it'll actually show me everything in between that I need to see, people that I need to meet. Because when I jump on the elevator and I learned this as well too, and so many auspices, I shot to the top and then let's use the business of music, for example. The reason why I chose to take the stairs is because I wanted to meet the head of legal. I wanted to meet the head of marketing. I wanted to meet the finance director. I wanted to meet these people in these middle floors and just going right up to the CEO. Because when the CEO is gone, he's let go. That's your champion in the building. Now he's gone. What about the people on the 19, 18, 17, to 16 floor? So that goes and it's applicable across the board to life. You know, let's take the stairs, not the elevator, right? Let's not walk down that long pier into that short coin because the same time that you spend walking down that pier to make that short coin, you can actually walk a little slower down that pier and it'll get you to the long coin.
So I would say, you know, I can do it. I feel y'all energy over here, for sure. Like, let me tell y'all, I finished law school with 3 kids. Passed the bar the first time, okay? Like, this, if I can do it, y'all can do it. And I used to sit in the back seat of my mom car while she's so good. Look, I come from it. I promise you, I do. Like, I'm not different. I'm just the exception. You get what I'm saying? I'm not different. I'm just the exception. And you gotta make yourself the exception. My mom always used to say, you from this, but you ain't gotta be in this. You get what I'm saying? And so you can just make yourself the exception. And I'll tell y'all, I finished law school, some law review, everything. And me and the other black boy out of 14 people did not have a job offer. And I'm like, you know, I went through all this, finished law school, passed the bar, I ain't going to shine. What is going on here? I didn't understand it 7 years later, but my firm was actually ranked above 50 other law firms that I applied for. Okay, God, I hear you now. I couldn't be under them because he had to have me above them. But that was the moment I stopped asking God, why? Instead of saying, why this, why that? Now I say, what's next? What we doing next? What we doing next? Okay, that door closed. Thank you. People's rejection is your protection. What's next for me? If I can do it, I promise y'all. Look, I seen a lot of things as a child that a child ain't supposed to see. And I ain't done it yet. I ain't success. People like, you successful. Okay, I'm successful when my kids become successful. That's the product of me. I'm not done. I got a whole long journey to go. But if I can do it, I promise y'all can do it too. Like, I'm not different. I'm just an exception. Make yourself an exception to the rule as well.
That's dope.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I came to Atlanta and did a lot in a short period of time. People that's been here for a long time haven't seen some of the things I've done in such a short time frame. But it was because I came here with intention and I came here focused. My boys and my friends at the strip clubs and throwing money, no not to the strip clubs, I was really, really focused. While they was hanging out, I was studying and reading and applying and learning all the things I didn't know. So my thing was say, if you want to do what I've done or be in my path is prioritize work ethic and prioritize, excellence. Like push yourself to be smart as hell, push yourself to know stuff you don't know, push yourself to have discipline and prioritize these things, even when it's not fun or you don't feel like doing it. I made it out of 400 companies that applied for this accelerator program with Comcast. They only took 10, and mine was one of them, right? And for me to beat out those companies and get that deal with Comcast to set the tone for what I was doing, man, I had to go pitch, I had to learn, I had to read, I had to do all kinds of stuff I didn't know. And I was saying to work ethic. When COVID came and I had to pivot, I work ethic, learning how to build software, learning how to produce content. I didn't know some of those things, because I didn't have a developer, I didn't have a director, so I had to learn myself how to direct content and edit and stuff like that. So have that work ethic and have that passion and have that drive, and you're gonna make it.
Alright, so that concludes our panel there. Let everybody know where they can follow y'all. Or his on social media platforms. Where can they follow you guys?
Yeah, so bchris underscore BCRISS underscore across everything. bchris, Brandon Chris, rapplug.com, rapplug.com. That you can follow.
Okay, so follow me on Instagram at Maria Story. I told y'all I'm always on the platforms. I'm trying. The kids trying to teach me TikTok and all that stuff, but follow me on Instagram at Maria Story. Yeah, I am, but I'm trying on that too. Rosina, the Viz Lawyer Pierce, or maybe Rosina Pierce. I'm trying with the LinkedIn, with the corporate stuff, whatever. I'm trying that too. But yes, the Viz Lawyer and Rosina Pierce on LinkedIn.
If you want the best lawyers in the city of Atlanta, go on Instagram. You can holler at you and get you back.
You can follow me across all platforms, Cloth Talk Verse, CLOTH. K Verse, PRSE, and my name is Kai Verse Tyler, so you just hit the Google bar to pull up all my stuff, it's hard to get in contact with at all.
And Director Cricket. Cricket spelled the regular way, Director spelled the regular way.
Alright, I would like to appreciate you guys. Say thank you to you guys for being on the panel with me today, man.
And give it up for Waffles one time. We gotta think about people that selfish. People that selfish are very important people to everything that you're doing. And you can tell that by a person that takes the time to put things like this together. Weekends and stuff like that probably losing its ass. Well, my brother being persistent with doing it. So we're gonna get blessed. No, I'm just being serious. So, but we all need to support, so tell a friend, make this shit big as these other panels and weekends that we see the big celebrities do, like you said. Micro, make a lot of money in micros, and building communities and an ecosystem to work with each other. But again, for Waffles.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Once again, man, I appreciate you guys. Y'all been rocking with me all week from Thursday. We had all these events, man. I don't even know where to start. The Canvas and Chill was amazing. To go back to the Salvation Army, I would like to say thank you to one of my best friends in the building, and I appreciate you for setting that play up. Just to stand in there and just, take my time and put condiment packages together for the home and stuff like that. It meant a lot to me. Even when we did the Canvas and Chill, see you, Cali, just come out here and do what it is that you do. Shout out to Dave and me, y'all and stuff like that. Like, this shit means a lot to me. Like, I don't really do it for the money, man. I just do it to make sure that everybody has a good time. That was all my thing, just making people happy. long as y'all smile, I'm gonna make some money. It's gonna come, but it's more so about you guys having a great time throughout the whole week. That's it. Shout out to one of the sponsors, Warrior Brunch, no matter what. They're always there for me. Any of them, you can tell me, right? They always come through in the clutch. And they like, yo, Waffles, we got your back. Whatever you need, we'll be there. All my sponsors that came in, and the proclamation that I got this week, it was amazing, man. And that's all I wanted the city to ever understand is that I'm not here to take, I'm here to give. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna take this picture. Thank you one more time. I appreciate you guys.